Okay, this is my week 8 work in progress video for Studio One. Today, for my related works, I'm going to be discussing Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. It's an award-winning animated feature famous for its stylistic approach and seminal art direction. I've chosen this film specifically because of its use of color theory, textures, and screen effects, along with its meticulous attention to detail. I think they're a good parallel for my artistic goals that I wish to achieve in this project. In particular, the dark light contrast and color hues complement the film's dynamic animated style, taking an often dull grey industrial setting and infusing it with the life and personality of its characters, almost making the city a character itself. This is a valuable tangent, I think, for my own animated short to take inspiration from. The source material from this film, and obviously my own animated short, are both from comics, so the idea of techniques such as halftone textures and chromatic aberration let the source bleed through these different mediums. My film has more of a sci-fi kind of cyberpunk feel to it, so I've taken these influences and digitized or sci-fied them slightly. So this movie does a lot of things stylistically that I find inspiring and a good match for what I'm working on. In particular, the way that I think as a contribution to the animated community, this film has shown that rather than 2D and 3D being separated, they can kind of complement each other to spectacular effect. It's kind of widely known that this film is done with 3D models, but then drawn over traditionally. And the effect of that is this kind of unique looking film, which kind of has the best of both worlds, the smoothness and the personality of 2D, with obviously the visual flair and solidarity of 3D behind it. This is also apparent in another animated feature that's been done recently. This is a small mention of a related work, but the animated film Klaus, which is actually traditional 2D animation with lighting shaders and algorithms similar to 3D animation, creating kind of a beautiful aesthetic which bridges between the two styles, almost giving the film a 3D look. I think many people at a glance look at this and think of it as 3D, but it's actually a 2D film with a lighting rig set up similar to 3D to make it look 3D in I guess in those lighting instances. So just two really important reference points for what I'm working on. Just cutting quickly to my own work that I've done this week. Just my establishing shot. You can very clearly see the influence of Spider-Verse in this shot. The color keys and the textures are very, very influenced by that film. You can kind of see the halftone and the chromatic aberration here. I've been messing around with how far to go with that and how to rein it in where that sweet spot is. I've been experimenting with the security camera idea and these glitch effects, so maybe I'll have an overlay, kind of like a voyeuristic kind of futuristic city where everyone's under surveillance, a very kind of cyberpunky kind of sci-fi theme that I think I can tie in visually and just give the film a bit more kind of something interesting to look at that ties into the themes of the narrative. The second shot I've been working on is just a simple color key of the hair animation for when the anticipation of they're sizing each other up before the fight. The important thing here is that the characters look smooth and clean against these rough textured backgrounds, and the consistency in the color keys. So if I can kind of, all this experimentation leads to these things being solidified and I've got the look that I want, then I'll be happy with moving forward. The work for the upcoming week will focus on the rotating shot that I previously worked on. and actually going back and kind of getting reacquainted with Blender. And my plan is actually to make a quick little rough mock-up 3D background, and then animate the camera for that alongside the imported 2D movie. So I've got the timing down of animating that background along with the 2D animation so that they sync up, and then much similar to Spider-Verse, drawing over that animated 3D background to create the consistency of the 3D with the rotation, but also keeping in style with the look that I'm going for overall. So that's my plan for next week. Okay, thank you.